Thrivers, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Rise and Thrive Together. Rise and Thrive is a dynamic community committed to educating, empowering, and equipping you to live the life that you want through real talk, real actions, real results. Now, I'm laughing because let me tell you guys, behind the scenes, when we're in the green room, it is hilarious the stuff that takes place, and it is so cool. So that's why I'm laughing. I want to bring on my sister, Regina. So excited, post birthday girl. Hey, hey.
What up, Rise and Thrivers? Oh man, I'm I'm cracking
She
up.
came on like, what up? Flashing gang signs and whatnot.
Looking out, I'm a gangster. Yes. Welcome to Tax Day, everybody. If you're here in the United
Yay.
States, today is the day that taxes are meant to be put into the IRS on time. And if you're someone who is organized and structured, you already got your tax return done, or you're someone like myself and my husband, we're organized and structured, but we have three businesses. So we have an extension and we are completing what we need to complete to have everything ready for the IRS on time. There is my
Awesome.
little kickoff to the IRS, people. So hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to be here, sis.
Me
This is
too.
April, in the middle of the month,
I
new
know.
quarter of the year going by.
I know. And let's jump to May for a minute,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
Because in May, we have a challenge for all of our viewers, listeners, everybody. We have a challenge for you. Do you guys want to know what the challenge is? Say yes.
Somebody type
Yes.
in there. I do. Me.
I know. Somebody type yes. So, since this month we are focusing on appreciating our differences and paying it forward, what we are asking, and we'll talk more about it, but our challenge for May has 31 days, and we want every single day of the month of May that you do something nice for someone else. And it could be something as small as holding a door for someone that you see with a bunch of packages in their hand. Don't be like the people in the movies who rush in the door and pull it behind them and then watch the person struggle to open the door. Let's not do that. Pay it forward is what we're focusing on, especially this month, but also in the month of May. So the challenge is every single day. That means 31 days. We want you to do something nice for someone else. Then we want you to go to our community, our Facebook private community. And if you don't know what that is, go on Facebook, Rise and Thrive Together community.
Community.
Isn't this?
Yeah.
See, Rise and Thrive Together community. You have to be granted access in and post when you've done something. What did you do and how did you feel? So if
Mm.
you're not a part of the community, let me wrap this up for you. If you're not a part of the community, become a part of the community. Rise and Thrive Together community. That's how you'll find us on Facebook. Challenges every day in the month of May. Do something nice for someone else. Pay it forward. Then we want you to mention it in the Rise and Thrive Together community. We want you to say what it is that you did and how did it make you feel. And guess what? Drum roll. At the end of our last show in May, the last Monday in May, we're going to do that wheel where we spin and we announce a winner. And guess what the winner gets? Drum roll. You get your 15 minutes of fame. You get to be a guest with us on Rise and Thrive Together. Okay? So you guys got it? Month of May. Pay it forward. Do something nice for someone every single day. Document it in the Rise and Thrive community on Facebook, what you did and how did it make you feel. The person that does this every day. So if you skip a day, you can't make up. It's kind of like if you miss your sleep today, you can't make up for it tomorrow. It doesn't happen. You already missed it today. But every single day, we want to do something nice for someone else. We should be doing this anyway, but we decided we're going to do this challenge. Okay? So if you're not a member of our community, join it. When we get off the air, we will admit you in, and then you can be a part of this amazing, awesome, rising and thriving community. All right? Did I get it covered good?
Yes, and all details will be happening in that Facebook group. And here's the one thing I will add, right? Although it's a daily challenge, right? I'm in a daily challenge right now, and you skip a day. Okay, so maybe you won't be put on the wheel, right? To win a special prize of being on our show for 15 minutes. Go and continue to do it. You skipped a day, like go. You skip the day, continue, and continue to come to the community. Because it's, yes, there's that whole entire thing of how does it make you feel and all that mindset that goes through, I skipped today, I'm not getting my fame. But that's not the point. The point is together we rise and thrive. So let's make a difference for others, especially their strangers. So random acts of kindness, please. Awesome.
Exactly.
All
Easy
right.
to do it for friends, right? But we're talking about strangers and community, and you never know how that will make someone feel. So
Yes.
something small, and if I'm on the line behind you in the supermarket, feel free to pay for all my groceries. I thank you in advance.
I love it. All right. Are we ready, sis?
Yes, I'm excited.
Me too. So guess what, guys? I'm a big Saturday Night Live fan. So for those of you people who watch Saturday Night Live, you get like these guests that come on and on. I am super stoked and excited for 3-time guest. 3 times. Not even 1 year on this show yet. Hal Eisenberg. I am so excited. If you don't know anything about Hal Eisenberg, well, come and watch our former shows. But quickly, I will tell you that Hal Eisenberg is this incredible social worker, incredible person who is out to transform the education system. He is a licensed social worker for many, many, many years, 20 plus years. He has his doctorate, and I do not remember, but I think it's in something, education, leadership, master's. Oh, I think MBA. I think he has also his MBA. He has a bunch of things. He's got a ton of stuff going on. And most of all,
Hal, we're going to have you just introduce yourself.
She just gave me like extra degrees. I'm like,
you do have your
I'm
master's.
going to go to the school of
master's
Regina.
Most of all, he is the Hal Eisenberg Leadership Academy, and that is an incredible organization and program for youth empowerment and youth leadership driven workshops, projects, and curriculums that are going around all around the United States and internationally. And now we have him as the author of his 3rd book coming out, which is called The Rebirth.
Correct.
The Rebirth. Awesome. Coming out soon. And we are happy to welcome you here, Hal, as we have this month's topic of appreciating differences and paying it forward. Yay, Hal Eisenberg. Welcome. 3-time Academy Award.
You get a jacket. You get a jacket. Thank you, Regina and Raquel, for having me again. I'm so grateful. Happy birthday, Regina, belated. And happy 50th show, Rise and Thrive. This is your 50th episode, right?
Yep.
50. That is amazing. And
that's so awesome. We've had this show longer than I've been alive.
Me too.
Thank you both for not laughing. Damn, sis, you messed it up. You went and laughed. I was like, thank you both for not laughing. That's so awesome. Thank you, Hal.
Yeah, what
an 50.
Awesome milestone. And I'm super honored to be here for this milestone. And I'm loving the challenge. This whole random act of kindness thing, I'm really, really loving it. So I feel like I love that it's a challenge. And in the same breath, I feel like, wouldn't it be nice if that's how humanity was like every day? Right?
Absolutely.
Just being who you are and what you're about, just being a stand for unconditional love, no matter who you're speaking to, who you come across. I think that's like the goal of this contest, right?
Absolutely. You just never know how it will impact a person's day. Just the smallest thing. I went to I got to say this before we get in. Hal is family now, so we don't have to, do too much with Hal. Hal will take over. But I was in a supermarket. I'm not going to plug anybody unless they're going to sponsor the show. But I was in a supermarket and I was talking with one of the.
We lost control of the show
I was
already.
speaking with one of the folks. And I walked up to them like we do, and we're just focused on us, right? And we're like, hey, where can I find? And then I was like, no, stop. I said, I am practicing how to ask people how they're doing first. And I said, how are you? And the guy, he smiled and he thought it was just so funny. He's like, I'm doing well. How are you? I was like, I'm great. And then there was that moment of silence. And then I was like, so now what I'm looking for is, and he was just so kind and directed me. But it's so often that we go into stores or supermarkets or wherever, and we just immediately think about what it is that we need without first addressing the person who is we're asking to help us. So I really thought about that as we're going through not just this month, but just the practice of practicing and doing random acts of kindness. So I thought it was funny, and then two, it really hit home for me that it's not always about me.
Right, right. You know what I love about that, Raquel, as you were sharing that, I was thinking about every morning I go on a 2 mile walk. And one of my favorite things to do every morning is just to say good morning to strangers. You know, people are like,
Mm.
oh, you live in New York, you're not supposed to say good morning, you know, and I'm like, why not? And when you say good morning to somebody that wasn't expecting it, and you see that smile come across to their face, and they're like, oh, good morning. Like, you know that might have trickled off into that person's day. And it doesn't matter if it did or
Mm.
not. It's just the fact that you were that stand in that moment to just greet a
Mhm.
stranger. So I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you mentioned being a New Yorker and not saying hi because obviously people are going to think you're a victim, right? You say hi to somebody you don't know. What? Where I live now, I'm out of New York. It is the norm.
Right.
Like, so it is the norm when you're walking and you pass someone just to say good morning. Not how's your day, how the kids, no, it's just a simple good morning, and it makes a difference. But it's funny how coming from New York to where I am now in South Jersey, and it's just normal to
Really
have
great you
that.
said
So
that. And I'm going to ask a question to the audience. We've got incredible audience saying hi and sending love to us for our happy 50th episode. And to Hal, hey guys, what is something you recently had done as you paid it forward? The difference that you made, a random act of kindness. I think it's really interesting that, like you were saying, Raquel, we're now like putting a challenge for random acts of kindness. Like
mm,
where like I'm really grateful that for you it's a norm, because I would love to have that, like Hal was saying, bring back to the everyday unconditional love. Like we now need to get to this space of let's do a random act of kindness challenge, rather than people,
mhm.
we just notice how wired we are to stay here on our phone, look away, don't look at anybody, walk into a store and just like automatically bombard somebody, right? And just sit there and go into, you know, hey, can you get me this, without seeing someone, witnessing someone, noticing that they're really there, that they exist. So I really got very present to that. And I love what Joanna said. Great to see you all, and love the theme of acknowledgement, right? Acknowledgement and kindness to strangers. And like that's like really, I think, what we're saying. And and Dawn, our friend Dawn, is like 100% agree. So Hal, let's bring this to you. Like here it is. Here this is with you. We're into appreciating our differences. You've got this extraordinary book, third book coming out in the rebirth, which I think is so interesting as we're in this appreciating differences. So tell us, book one, book three, there was Scott Matheson then, and here he is in book three. Difference then, difference now, and anything in between that you want to share about appreciating differences and paying it forward.
Scott Matheson, my alter ego, right? um, big difference between book one and book three, right? So book three is titled, The Rebirth. It's the third book in the Beautiful Soul series. And it really picks up when I started my nonprofit company, Windows of Opportunity. And that chapter of my life, you got to think this was the springboard of me. And there was no way I could tell this at the time that I was going to reach 500,000 people, right? my attitude at the time opening that nonprofit was really one big pay it forward random act of kindness, because book one and book two was really about this kid that was lost, this kid that was struggling with who he was and the mixed messages that the planet was giving him and that humanity was giving him, and he didn't know how to stand on his own 2 feet, and he was lost and he was hurt, and there was, you know, homelessness and drug addiction and pain and violence in his life, and he was hardly swimming, hardly surviving. And book one and book two kind of take you through that journey and all these things that happened to him. And then he finally started to see the light through some really amazing, healthy relationships and through the grace of God. And book three starts this like, okay, like there was nobody there for me to give me this message of faith or hope, or at least I wasn't aware of it. You know, I wasn't aware that the people in my life were gifts and blessings, because everyone's a gift and blessing, right? Which is an important message with random acts of kindness. I talk to my students about this all the time. Random acts of kindness is not, I'm better than you, so I'm doing something because you're less, right? It's, I'm acknowledging, my soul is acknowledging your soul, and I'm just sharing that unconditional love, right? And I think that's where the rebirth starts, and that's why we named it the rebirth. It's like I was practically reborn and saying, okay, now what do I do with this life, right? I want to acknowledge everybody. I want everybody, including myself, to see that light inside and begin to impact people. And from the start, you know, I get a lot of credit for windows of opportunity and these programs and everything. And I've said this through the years. I will say this till I take my last breath. None of it was me. It was really all the youth. All I did was hold the space and the platform. And I said, I want your light to shine. And youth came to me and said, I want to do this program. I want to do that program. Cool, let's try it. Right. And that's when we started impacting more youth and more families. Right. So that to me was kind of one just gigantic last 24 years of random acts of kindness. So yeah, so that's the rebirth. The rebirth takes us on that journey of windows of opportunity, and it takes me through even more challenges with the education system, because now here I am building programs, and now I'm seeing how broken the education system is, and then myself becoming a product of that broken system. So where book one and book two, you know, showed how as a child I was impacted by the system, book three starts to show how I'm impacted as a professional and an adult, and how do I guide that, and, you know, foreshadow into book four, gets into this big vision that I have that I'm living currently about transforming the education system.
Wow.
We got a lot of people talking about random acts of kindness here and putting it up there. I don't think Kirill has enough time to even throw them up. They're coming in left and right. You know, we've got Chrissy saying that, you know, she's lucky that it looks like she needs caffeine because she has gotten her coffee paid for at Starbucks by drive-through, thanks to people paying it forward to her that she doesn't
Love that.
You know, Mark Weisberger writes in, isn't a smile a random act of kindness, right? And absolutely, Raquel has shared that often, over and over again. Joanna writes, paying it forward puts such good energy into the world, Chrissy. You know, like there it is. There's so much that people are throwing out there. And, you know, I love it. It's just, she can't even catch up because there's so much great energy of random acts of kindness. But sis, you know, this is, and Hal is the vision of love. And now I've got like Mariah Carey's Vision of Love, like song in my head. And I can't just, I know I can sing. And when it comes to that song, nope, I'm not singing that one for you. But sis, I know you know, always loves to be challenged, right? Let's like challenge him. What question do you have for him? One that really.
Well, I want to read this one comment here. It says, never underestimate the power of a sincere compliment to a stranger.
Mm.
Absolutely. So, and a smile, a kind word, and all we're saying is all these things are just simple things that we do. We just somehow don't necessarily always share them with strangers. The smile, the kind word, nice shoes, love the hair color, anything like that. Just something small. It makes a difference. So, my question for Hal,
Yeah.
as you were speaking, what came to me was, as authors, we're told we don't write for ourselves. We write for our readers. Our book is not about us, it's about our readers. And in this third installment, what message do you want the readers? What do you want to share with the readers in this third installment?
Well, I think to start, great question, by the way. I think to start, you know, I think it's twofold, right? So I do write, and I always write to inspire others, right? And in the same breath, Beautiful Souls, the series, was something cathartic for me. It was a release of all. I needed to write the 4-book series just to kind of work out where I was to get to the next level. And I think that's the message that I want people to walk away from with book 3 is like, there is hope, and that
Mm,
I think this is the theme of the book. The theme of the book is truly unconditional love, right? And it's a journey back to yourself. Here's this kid, Scott Matheson, who's getting knocked down, knocked down, knocked down. He's finally lifting up. He's inspiring other people, and boom, he gets knocked down again. And here he comes back up, right? So it's like, no matter what's going on in your life, the contrast in your life is a blessing. Everything in the book that I write about that feels negative builds up into a positive, and that's all of our journeys, right? So if we look at every chapter in our life, every challenge, every pain, every everything that just didn't make sense, those nights where you're crying in the pillow going, somebody give me an answer. It's
mm,
designed to help you grow, and it's really just all about a journey back to yourself. And once you journey back to yourself and you're standing in a place of true love, anything is possible. And that's what book 3 and book 4 is about. It's really a journey of love, of hope, of not giving up, and saying we can do better for ourselves and then for humanity, because we can't do better for humanity until we do better for ourselves. And we perpetuate what we talk about, we perpetuate what we think. So why don't we just perpetuate love? We can all do better. That's
mm.
what I want people to walk away, from with this book.
Mm.
I love when you said this book is about hope because people need that. Sharon wrote, I need to read that book in all caps. Hope is, the Bible talks about hope deferred makes the heart sick.
You,
And so people need hope. Most times that's the only thing they have to hold on to is just, I hope, I hope, I hope. Oh my gosh, that's so
and
beautiful. Sorry, yes, I just needed to say
hope
it. So
hope
beautiful.
actually is an acronym, in my opinion, to helping other people everywhere, right?
Oh,
Mm,
boom, drop that. Love it.
Can we can we
yes,
read
yes.
Christine's comment?
I
Christine,
do. I just was going to say this. So Chris writes to Hal, and this is such a beautiful, because we know her well. Her school is a 7 habit school. And my mission statement is that everyone you meet is afraid of something, loves something,
Mm,
and has lost something. So if we look at people from that perspective, I've got chills, Chris. We are really the
wow.
same, doing the best we can. That to me is education
Mm,
transformed right there. That is a school that, amen for having her in that school, her as a teacher. And if that is what that is passed on to the children, then what
mhm.
a absolute, talk about random act of kindness. That is like a gift and blessing and hope. So thank you, Chris, for doing what you do and sharing that. That was super inspiring.
if our listeners or viewers don't know what a 7 habit school is, it's 7 habits of highly effective people was written, I believe, by Stephen Covey, and then his son did the 7 habits of highly effective students. Correct me, Chris, if I'm off. I might be off with the title or the name slightly. Phenomenal books, phenomenal programs, some really, really great research. What Chris's school is doing, combined with what I think should be done with passion-based learning and social emotional learning, I think these models need to be integrated. And that's a whole other show. I could talk an hour about how we can transform education, because it needs to be done. And I really feel like if you look through history, there's always these crossroads in life where you're like, we needed to get to civil rights and women's rights, and there's so many things that we needed to overcome. We're in that crossroads right now with education. We know it's failing. We know that it's getting worse. If we look at the data, if we look at the statistics, schools are falling apart. COVID brought it to light, and it's just continued to get worse. And I'm in the trenches, right? And I know that this is the time where we're going to start to see more schools like Chris's school be birthed, and we are going to transform the system. The question is, who's going to come to the table and do it with us?
Ooh.
Wow.
That's a great question. Who's coming to the table?
Exactly.
We got lots of listeners.
I'll come to the table.
Coming to the table. Hal, I know that you talked about transforming education. Shows flying by. We know we can spend hours with you. Why don't you share a little bit of how, if people are interested in that conversation, how they can find out more about that? I know you have a podcast on that.
I have a podcast called Transforming Education. We kept it simple. I post a link on my LinkedIn account weekly. We have a show that comes out. We were in season 2. All of season 2 is recorded. We do 8 episodes a season, and we have it in 3 different segments. We have a segment for parents. So any parents that are struggling with different issues and different questions, we address those issues. And then it's a system, right? So the second segment is geared toward teachers and administrators, because teachers and administrators are also struggling with different issues. And then our third segment is called Beyond Borders, and it's all about looking at great models across the globe and seeing what they are doing and what we can borrow from them, and just talking, kind of ending off on a positive note. Like, this is what is possible. What is possible has kind of been like my theme of late, overcoming all my own personal struggles and challenges. It's like, okay, instead of looking at it as you're down and out, it's like, what's possible? Instead of looking at the education system as, oh, I can't stand this, I'm frustrated, I'm a teacher, I'm this, I got headaches. It's like, okay, we could stay in the negative, or we can ask ourselves, what's possible from this, right? What can we learn and what can we grow?
I love that. So instead of complaining, I was going to say something else, but my mama watching. Instead of complaining about your situation, ask yourself that question: what's possible, or what is possible? However you want to phrase it, but ask yourself, what's possible from all of this?
Absolutely.
What's possible? Wow. Hal, every time you come on here, you drop stuff, and I want to take notes and stuff. You need to tell me what you're going to drop first so I can get my notepad ready.
I never know what I'm going to drop. I feel just blessed to be here, and just honored that you keep bringing me back. I want my jacket. I have 2 more shows for that.
I'll tell you, I didn't watch SNL, so that's on my sis, but I'll support her. We'll get you a jacket, Hal, that says Rise and
Yes.
Chris. Oh, see what Chris said. I can tell you, come back here. I can tell you that my principal truly believes in it. I don't think it would work if leaders don't believe in it. Absolutely. Makes life easier.
Leadership comes from the top down, and you need buy-in. But what I also have learned, and I share with teachers, is sometimes leadership comes from the middle. If you don't have an administration, or you don't have a team around you, you're a leader yourself. It's that random act of kindness notion. It's that pay it forward notion. You can still be a stand for love. Even if you're in a system that's not supporting you and broken, you can still show up for yourself, and you can still show up for your students, because we're all in this together. And help is on the way. Just have that positive outlook, and be the leader that you are.
Wow. And Susan says, what's possible and who can I enroll into working it with me? Love that part. Let's add that part in. So after you answer what's possible, who can you enroll? Because guess what? You can't do it alone. And why would you want to? Isn't it good to have somebody with you? So that's great, Susan. Thank you so much. And Joanna said, yes, your show is a blessing. Oh my gosh, how? Time flies by. How we have fun with you.
I love it. I just want to add to what Susan's saying. Susan, tribe is everything. I was just having this conversation last night. That's the other byproduct of random acts of kindness. And maybe this is a good note to end it on, and I'll shut up. The byproduct of random acts of kindness and being a person of unconditional love and working whatever vision you have, whether it's education or whatever your dream is, you are going to attract like-minded people. Once you stand for love and loving yourself, all the right people are going to come into your life. Tribe is everything, and you don't have to be invited to the table. You're going to create the table, and they'll just come.
Yes, yes. I don't need to be invited. I'm gonna sit down at the table anyway.
That's right.
That's how I see it. You don't have to invite me. It's all good. I'm still coming. And Chris, boy, Chris, we need to see a plug on your bulletin board. She said you guys are giving me bulletin board ideas for next year. What's possible? Oh my gosh, this has been so tremendous. I can't believe how time went by already. Tell us one more time how the title of the third installment of your series and how can people get to listen to your podcast?
So it's the Beautiful Soul series. The third book is called The Rebirth. The books are available on Amazon. You can look myself up as an author. There's another author by my name, but just Google Hal Eisenberg Beautiful Soul series. You can find Transforming Education on all the podcast channels, on Spotify. I post it weekly on LinkedIn, on Facebook. So just find me, and you can reach me at eisenbergleadership@gmail.com. I'm open to having conversations with anybody who wants to talk this. Obviously I don't shut up. I love geeking out, as you can tell. So if you want to geek with me, reach out.
Awesome. Hal, thank you. We can't thank you enough. We so appreciate and love you for everything that you're doing, not just for transforming education, but for transforming us.
Aww.
Right? So we thank you so very much. And our audience said it tonight. Listen, I end the show all the time with the same message. I hope you guys are getting it. Together, we can rise and thrive. Till next time.